Hi friends, it's Miss Amy. Today I wanted to show you guys one of your art board, choice board options is to draw a portrait of a friend or a family member. So I'm going to show you kind of how to draw a really simple version of a face. Some of you might remember in years past, like when you were in maybe a younger grade, about doing this lesson before, so you might remember it. So this is just to kind of jog your memory. And for those of you who this is new, just take your time. Drawing faces can be kind of intimidating. It can be kind of scary. And there's some tough parts, but I want you to do your best and try. If you make mistakes, it's okay. I'm going to be drawing with this Sharpie, and some of you have been practicing with Sharpies. You see a lot of the videos where they're doing with Sharpies. You're welcome to try it, but what's the problem when we're using a Sharpie? If we make a mistake, we can't erase it. So if you feel a little nervous about possibly making mistakes, it might be a better option to use a pencil and have an eraser on hand. I usually have, when I'm using pencils, I usually have a really big eraser like set aside for me to use in case I make mistakes. And when you are using pencils, if you are using a pencil, good rule of thumb is if you're drawing, to draw really light. You may not be able to see what I just drew there because I drew it so light. I don't even know if I can show it up on there, but can you see it? That's if I do make a mistake, I can easily erase it and it won't show up on my paper. So that's a good trick to use, okay? Draw light until it's right. So let's start with the head. When we're making a person, our person's gonna be looking right at us. When you're drawing, you should look at that person right in real life if you can. Have them sit for you for a few minutes and just be kind of still. And then the shape of most people's faces is kind of an oval or an egg shape. Okay, I know I did that kind of fast. Sometimes what I do is I will draw a couple times really lightly, especially with a pencil, until I get the shape that I want. Okay, faces are symmetrical. That means that they're the same on both sides. So we're gonna put a really faint line right down the middle of our face. Okay, and this is gonna be our line of symmetry. Now we're gonna start with putting where our eyes are going to go. So actually our eyes are not gonna go up here. A lot of people like to put their eyes up here. This would be the forehead, the top of our head. That's not where our eyes are. We're definitely not a frog. Okay, so we're gonna look at kind of the middle, kind of eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but about the middle of the face. So we're actually kind of making almost like a cross or a T. And again, that's about where our eyes are going to be on our person. Now halfway between, we're gonna look at this line, and this would be our chin right here. So on our line of symmetry, we're gonna find about halfway, and that's about where our nose is going to be. So we're going to kind of track to see about halfway. It wouldn't be here and it wouldn't be here, but probably somewhere around here. So once we kind of find that, we're going to make a little line, not too long. That's about where our nose is going to be. And we're doing these marks to just kind of figure out where we're putting all our parts of our face. So from our nose, again on this line, halfway between our nose now and our chin, is we're going to find where our mouth is going to be. So it wouldn't be here and it wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be too close to our nose and it wouldn't be too close to the bottom of our chin. So about halfway, and we're going to make a line that goes like this. Okay, these kinds of lines that we're making right here should be nice and light, especially with a pencil, because we're going to erase these when we're done. So let's go back up to our eye line right now. Okay, I'm going to show you a quick trick, and actually I'm going to start part of it with the pencil, so that you can kind of see it, because we won't be keeping it. So right where these two lines are going to cross, we're actually going to draw an eye of about this, not too big. And eyeballs tend to be kind of football shaped. So we're going to make kind of like a smiley face line there at the bottom. And we're going to make kind of almost like a rainbow shape above it, about the same. Okay. If you can see, this is where we know. We're going to draw another eye on the other side of this. On either side of this, I should say. The same size. And that will be about this eye in the middle. We don't really have this eye, but this is like if we were a cyclops. This is going to help us space where our eyes are going to go. So again, we're going to do the same kind of shape. So sometimes using my finger helps, or your pencil, to measure about how long your eye is going to be. So I'm thinking it'll end there, and it should end somewhere around here. So I make some marks. If You can kind of see really light marks. And we're gonna draw that smiley face here and smiley face on the bottom. And then we're gonna do the rainbow line on the top and a rainbow line on the bottom. So if you can kind of see, we gave ourselves 3 eyes. We don't really need 3 eyes, so we're gonna erase one of those, that one in the middle, because we don't need it anymore. And that just will give us where our eyes are gonna go. So as you can see, there we have our eyes, and that's where we're gonna start. Now in the middle of our eyes, we're gonna put our eye shape. Now, it's a kind of a circle. That's the colored part of your eye, the iris, and then you also have the pupil that's really dark, that lets the light in. You wanna make sure that if you're doing it like this, that looks a little strange. Nobody really looks like this unless they're really surprised. Most people's eyes are gonna look a little bit more like this. It's really gonna fill the space. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And inside, we're gonna also draw the iris. Now, no matter who you are, boy or girl, you do have eyelashes. Eyelashes are there to protect your eyes. And I don't like to do too many eyelashes, no matter what. I just do a couple on the edges like this. And I also draw a line above it for your eyelid. And here's a quick artist trick too. If you draw a little circle, if you can kind of see, a little circle right here, when we go to color in the center dot, that's the iris, and then the color part, this is your pupil and this is your iris. Leave that dot white, so it's gonna make your eye look really realistic. So I'm gonna color in the pupil dark, and I'm gonna lightly color in the iris. So you can see it makes that person's eye look a little bit more realistic, okay? And I'm gonna go speed through this. Now we're gonna do the eyebrows. So right above the eyes, we're gonna draw the eyebrows. Everybody's eyebrows are a little bit different depending on the shape, but usually a nice curved line goes a little past your eyes at some point. And obviously eyebrows we're gonna show, are made up of lines because it's made up of little hairs. So I like to kind of draw my eyebrows more like little lines for what they are. So you can see there. I'm just gonna go over. Now we're ready to move on to the nose. Noses are tricky. I have been drawing my face for a long time, since college, if not before that in high school. And I always had trouble drawing my nose, and I never quite got it right. So it's taken me many years to get something close to my nose. I still don't quite get it. So I'm not expecting you guys to make perfect noses your first time. It's okay. But I will say this, when you are doing noses, don't draw a line on either side of your nose. Your nose is a 3D shape, okay? When we look at it straight on somebody's face, we really are seeing the way the light is shining on something because it pokes out from your face. So right now I have the light kind of shining this way, you can kind of see the shadow. So we're gonna kind of use that. So the light would be on this side. It would be shining on the nose, and the shadow would be on this side of the nose. So we're gonna kind of draw that line on here, and we're actually really drawing more of the nose from the bottom. So what I usually do is maybe I might do a little bit of a line up here by the eyes. And then what I do is I kind of draw a little bit of a C shape. So right down here on that line that we made at the middle, I'm going to draw a little C shape. Your eyes are actually going to help you measure. So I'm going to use the pencil to help me. So the corner of our eyes is actually about how wide our nose is going to be. So I'm going to draw those lines with my pencil because I'm going to erase them. And that's going to help me see how wide my nose is going to be down here at the bottom, okay? So I make that C shape down here. Then I'm going to make 2 C shapes on either side where those lines are that I made. That would be my nostrils, right? The outside shape of my nose. And I'm actually going to draw just kind of a little upside down C shape here. And when you're looking at somebody right at them, you're not looking up their nose, so you should not be seeing up their nostrils. You would actually be seeing kind of just the side of it. So this is really all you need to do for a nose. You don't need to really do anything else. Again, I'm going to erase those lines so you can see. Not too bad, not too shabby, right? Let's try our mouths. Mouths are kind of interesting. If you look at your own face or the person that you're drawing, you look at that shape that's underneath their nose, just before the top part of their mouth. And that's a shape that you're going to kind of mimic. It's kind of like a U shape. So this line is your mouth line, right? This line would be right where right underneath that line would be the bottom of your lip, and above that line would be the top of your lips, because you have two lips, right? So we're going to look at the shape of my nose. It has that curve, and we're going to try and do that same curve right on our line of symmetry. So whatever we do on this side, we're going to do exactly the same on this side. And we're going to curve it down to the mouth. And same thing on this side. So that's our upper mouth, the top part of our lip. Okay? Doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, everybody's lips are different. So some have thin lips, some have thick lips. Doesn't matter whether you're a boy or a girl. So I just went over that line a little bit more. Now we're going to do the bottom part of our lip. So I like to make that a little bit wider, thicker than the top part. I may start with kind of like a C, and then I curve it up. Kind of like the same shape that we made here on the bottom part of our eyes. We're going to do the same thing here. But if you're drawing from somebody's face that you're actually looking at, look at them carefully, because all these parts, the noses, the mouth, the eyes, the eyebrows, that's going to depend on the person that you're looking at. So look carefully, because that person might have much thicker eyebrows than the ones that I drew here. And they might not have really big eyelashes. Or they might have a really wide nose, or they might have a really skinny nose. You have to look at those kinds of things and be careful. So here's basically our face. We want to start to do the things around it, right? We have the neck, and we have the ears, and we have the hair that we're going to have to add. So let's start with actually, let's do this. Sometimes the shape right here of our face doesn't quite match that person. So we might have to look again at that person. Maybe this chin goes a little bit longer. Maybe we have kind of more of an angular face. It's not quite as round down at the bottom. So even though I'm using a pen, I can kind of change things. Now we're going to do our ear. Ears are about the size of between our noses and our eyes. So we already have the line for our eyes here. I'm going to make a little line here where it kind of lines up with my nose. And ears are pretty simple, just kind of a curve. And that's all you really need to do for ears. You don't have to do too much. If you want to put kind of the shapes that are inside it, you can look at that. Some people's ears stick out more, some people's are much flatter. It depends on the person. Let's do our neck. So necks are going to be here, inside. Again, looking in your mirror, if you're drawing yourself or you're drawing somebody, look at where it's attaching to the body. Okay, actually this neck might be a little bit thicker than I need to be. And your shoulders, a lot of people tend to do shoulders like this, right? That doesn't quite look right. If you look in a mirror, your shoulder comes way off here, and it's okay if part of your drawing goes off the page. It actually makes it more interesting, because people will look at it and go, ooh, I wonder what else is going on the rest of the picture, and gives people an idea to imagine. Okay, now let's talk about hair. Hair is really just a bunch of lines. So looking at that person's hair, whether it's yours or somebody that you're drawing, do they have curly hair? Do they have short hair? Do they have long hair, wavy hair? Think about what kind of lines you would use. And you look at somebody's hairline, okay, where their hair is starting to grow from their head. All right, it would not be growing from right at the top of the head, because otherwise that means that they have a really big forehead. And hair starts to kind of grow here, also down by your ears. So looking at that, sometimes you have to pull your hair back to kind of see the hairline. So I know for me, because I've been drawing my face for a long time, I know my hairline kind of goes straight across like this, and then it goes down, curving to my ears. So that line is my hairline. From there is where I would start to draw my hair growing out. Okay, so I like to have my hair parted on one side. So I'm going to have my hair kind of start to, and it might come over part of my face, part of my forehead. And it kind of curves down, depending on how long that person's hair that you're drawing. Depends on how long your hair is going to go. So my hair is actually, I don't know about you, but I need a haircut. My hair is getting quite long. And you guys know that I have like one side of my hair is much longer than the other. So this side of my hair is much shorter. So I would use shorter lines to have my hair kind of growing off of my head. And there you go. That's basically how you would draw a person's face. It is a little scary at first, but the more you practice, and let me tell you friends, I have been practicing for years and years, and the more you practice, the better you get, the easier things become, and the more you can figure things out and be confident about that. So don't worry if it doesn't look like that person. This doesn't look like me at all, and that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I'm just practicing. So here are Ellie and our portraits of each other while we were doing.
You can probably tell the difference.
Ellie, what do you think was the hardest thing for you to do when you were drawing?
The nose.
The nose. It's always the nose.
Is always the hardest.
Yes, it is.
I gave her, like, she's like a bobblehead, but I made her like that.
Mm-hmm. What was the easiest thing for you to draw?
The hair and the lips.
Okay. Cool.
And the eyes, the shape of the eyes.
So when you're doing this, you could do this with your parents if you like, and you guys could both draw each other. It's kind of hard the way we were sitting next to each other, so I recommend sitting across from each other because then your heads don't move around so much. It's hard to actually get the right angle because your people are looking up and down.
Every couple of minutes, I was just like.
Yeah, she was trying to so sitting across from whoever you are drawing might be helpful for you. And if you feel like you have enough time and you want to kind of shade things, like the way the shadows are showing up, you can do those kinds of things too. If you want to add details of like their clothes or what they're wearing, go for it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, right? Cool.
I could draw better if she wasn't moving, but I'm better at drawing animals than people. Yeah. I'm terrible at drawing hands and noses.
That's a lot of people would say that. I probably would say the same thing when I was your age too. And still sometimes. So it's okay. You just keep practicing, right?
That's why I never involve hands.
Guys, you can do this. I know you can do this. And it'll be fun because you'll get to see a nice picture of somebody. All right? Good luck. You got this.